As I said, between the states there could be a difference. No, I didn't say that, but that's also what states want. They want 1 to 3% leeway to charge. That means Karnataka, since we have looked at 13% being available, 10 to 13% Karnataka will say you give me leeway. I will charge depending on which item it is, I will charge between 10 to 30. So there will be different, the possibility of a single rate throughout India will not be there for the same product. For example, this water comes from Karnataka. As far as you are concerned, in West Bengal, there will be only one rate. West Bengal will have a rate, say, of 12.5 for this water. As far as SGST is concerned, it will be 12.5 only for you. But if I am sending from Karnataka to 5 places, all 5 places may be different. And the band could be this 1 to 3. Hopefully this also will be resolved and there won't be anything. If it is not there, it's good, otherwise it's going to create havoc. I can't imagine computer system being able to take off because each state may change. You know the way the states change the laws. Every state, how many states we have? How many union territories we have? 30 times in the year the rates may change. Can any human being keep track of it? Not possible. So hopefully the rate will be the same, I don't know. If it is not the same, it's going to be difficult. Again, I come to the kernel as far as practice is concerned. Today, practice is not only compliance. I would say compliance is 25% of practice today. 75% of practice is only value. What value you are giving to your client determines how well you do in practice. Not how many balance sheets you sign. Client is least interested in your signature. He says, if I go to a bank, they ask me for collateral. What is the use of your signature? But if you give him value, say his turnover is 100 crores, you are able to give him 2 crores when he comes for an audit, even a tax audit with you, then you are a valuable consultant to him. So I think credit is going to be the place where all of us have to concentrate and see that clients do not lose any money. If you look at the principle which is expected, you have the state GST which can be adjusted only against state GST. So what happens if the state GST is very high? You are in trouble. Because then again you have to get into those old system of getting back the refund from the VAT department or the GST department, which is going to be again cumbersome as I think. So you will have to plan your business in such a way that you don't have accumulation of SGST. It's going to be very imperative. So there is going to be a lot of change in the way in which the business is done. You will have to put an Excel sheet, put the client's business in the past, look at how much is going to be the impact of SGST, how much credit you will get, how much debit you will get. You will have to make a dummy for the past year and then look at what changes are required in future. This is the way you can consult your client under GST. As far as CGST is concerned, it will be adjusted against CGST, and IGST is the best. It can be used for, first of all, it can be used for IGST. IGST is whenever I do stock transfer, interstate, only one tax will be there. It will be a total. It will be a total of the CGST and the SGST. So you are not going to save any money, but for credit it is good in the sense that I can use IGST for paying first IGST, then I can use it to pay CGST, then I can use it to pay even SGST. But SGST I cannot use interchangeably. So here I don't have to plan anything. As long as my accumulations are more in IGST, I won't have much of payment of tax on one side and accumulation of credits on one other side. May not happen. So you might have to change your business to see that your IGST is at the highest. Correct? Because remember, under VAT law, the tax is so high, it's far beyond your margin. Your margin may be 3 or 4% in business, you're talking of 20 odd percent. Any one of the taxes you're losing, it's 10 or 11, 12, 13%. So I don't think anybody can afford to lose it. There is also going to be administrative assistance from you from this network which is already in place, and it's a Section 25 company. They will charge both the tax authorities, that means the central government authorities are going to pay, your West Bengal SGST department also is going to pay them for their services. You and me, who are part of the users, as taxpayers also are going to contribute to it in some sort of a fee. And they are providing multiple services. If you look at it, first of all, they'll put all this together. There will be a common portal. Presently, they are talking about submitting application, filing returns, making tax payment. They will also have advanced facilities. I don't know what is the position of technology in West Bengal. In Karnataka, they have the technology where even assessment can be done online. They are not doing it, but it can be done online. Facility of giving your show cause notice. Show cause notice will come by email. You reply by, attach your things, scan your things and send it. No paper involved anywhere. Everything will happen online. It is possible. It's available. The IT strategy is going to be very important. I understand that many states, especially in your eastern region, are not ready at all. They are not trying to get ready also. That's what I understand. So then what will happen to them? I think there is going to be one of the casualties of GST. Those states which are not ready for GST will become weaker. They can only beg the center. Then we don't know whether center will support or not support, but they will be in a very difficult position, I think, if they don't, get into the bandwagon. There are 5 committees which have been put in under GST, and you have different committees having different roles. There are a lot of issues going on in all of this. There are a lot of pending issues. Extent of dual control. Obviously, states don't want to give up. They don't want to say that Big Brother center will have the final say. They say no, I also will have final say. Both of us will have final say. 29, 32 states along with center having final say, agreeing on something may be very difficult. Then it may not work at all. GST may not work. But anyway, that's what states are asking. Rate structure, we already talked about it. How many issues are there? I think purchase tax and octroi and all has got resolved recently, so that's not a problem. Let's look at what's happening internationally, just to get an idea. Okay. It's not that all the countries have one rate. You have Canada where you have 2 rates. This is somewhat like our federal structure. One states will charge something and the GST rate will be different. You find there are marked differences there. But however you find other issues, possibly there is no issue. You don't have a merit rate at all. You have either exempt or taxable. Of course, whenever anything is exported, 0 rate is there. That 0 rate is applicable in GST also. In our Indian GST also it will be there. Australia, again you find more uniformity there. UK, you have, like India, you have a merit rate available. Then you have Singapore, and if you look at Singapore, it started at 3%. They started at 3%, now they are at 7%. But of course, Singapore is a totally different country. Probably, if we take Calcutta, it will be bigger than Singapore, correct? Yeah, Calcutta itself will be far bigger than Singapore in everything, numbers and number of people and size. So it's a small country possibly, but it's a good country to learn from. I think this we finished. Where we stand today, under GST, where are we? You saw what happened today. Of course, this slide was made much before today. It was sent long back here. But even at that time, I had my own doubts whether the bill will be allowed to pass. And this is at the first level. Then there is a Rajya Sabha where there will be a bigger battle. At the first level itself, there seems to be some difficulty. So if at all it's going to go through, it's going to go through in August, which also I have my little doubt. GST Council will come in place after the amendment. All these laws are passed. GST Council will then put the draft law. They will propose the draft law to the states, and then you and me also will have the draft law, which means that we are talking of September or October of this year for the draft law to be available with us. After that, the states will discuss it. West Bengal, it will go to the legislature. They will discuss why GST is good for us, why GST is not good for us. Sometimes the state is not considered, only political thoughts are there in the... we have seen this in VAT. Haryana came up in 2003, proved to us that it is much better to be under VAT. But there are states which joined only in 2009. So can we expect the same thing to happen? I don't know. We cannot have in GST, different states coming at different times, we cannot have. That's why the law itself provides that 15 states should have passed it. I think it will take at least 6 months to 9 months after September for that to happen. So that's why I am thinking 1st April of 2017 is a possibility. Even that I am not 100% sure, but that is what is possibility. Change management for revenue officers. What does change management mean? All of us also today as chartered accountants, what is the quality which is most important for a chartered accountant? What do you think is the quality which is most important for a chartered accountant? Anybody? They are all chartered accountants. So what is the most
adapting to the changed situation?
Exactly. IFAC also says this. International Federation of Accountants, it says that versatility is the first quality of a chartered accountant which has to be built in today's situation because the world is changing. So you and me have to change, even the officers have to change, the administration has to change, the policy makers have to change. So change management I think is very, very important. We have spent a couple of pages in the GST transition on this also. Public awareness and training. Even public requires to be trained. Dealers require to be trained. Chartered accountants, of course, our institute will ensure, and we also want to survive, we want to give good advice, we want to flourish, so we are going to get ourselves trained, whoever is interested in GST. And debate and amendment for removing rough edges. I have kept it last because the government of India also has not given much emphasis on this. Even in VAT, it did not give us much chance. In every state, it was pushed through. Hardly any of this last bit was done. Trust in the SSEs needs to be built in. Without that, I don't think GST can be a success. The officers have to trust, they have to give up their nefarious activities. I think all this I have talked about. What compromises the government has done till now? Remember, GST is still not passed. What are the compromises? The first one is 1% non-segmentable additional tax which will be like CST. This will be retained by the originating state. So they are saying producing states, don't worry, you will still get this 1%. I don't think they need it. Let me tell you. This first one is not at all necessary. It's a compromise which has been done. Petrol, diesel, etc. 40% of VAT not in GST is a big problem. It will cascade. Liquor not in GST, we are not bothered. 4 rates instead of having 1 rate or 2 rates. Expected rate around 24%, which is a serious problem for service providers. 12, now we are talking of 14% in the next few days, maybe in another month or so. 14% itself, how many clients are resisting us? At 14%, how many clients are saying, I don't care, you put it all inclusive, I don't want to pay any service tax. If it becomes 22, what will be the effect? Especially for those who are providing this, intellectual knowledge, for them it's going to be a big challenge. Dispute resolution, how will you have dispute resolution? Very big challenge, because state cannot have one view and center cannot have different view in GST. Whatever dispute is there, say undervaluation. Undervaluation will affect CGST also, it will affect SGST also. So how will the adjudication takes place? So you will have one officer on that corner from CGST and this fellow sitting here SGST. The CGST officers are saying, why should I sit on the same table? I am central cadre. Pardon? Yes. Shaking. Earthquake.
Yes.
I think we should. People might have gone to first floor and ground floor places. Who knows whether it will come again. As I said, the states which don't join GST are going to get weaker because the business will not happen there. They will not get the devolution of what taxes they get. And how can somebody send goods out of that state at all when there is no credit? 22% is too big a figure for any state or any business to subsidize. So it will not happen. As I said, devolution to the states are already up 1.78 lakh crores in this last budget itself. Many more possibly will be there before this bill gets passed, because this bill, further negotiation with states will certainly have to be done. As I said, what compromises done, dispute resolution, we have still not come to know, but they are examining whether they can have a joint, sitting. That's when the building started shaking, when I started talking about that. It's a very big issue. The central officers say, we are from the central cadre. We are not from West Bengal administrative services. We are from Indian administrative services. And we are 2 levels above that fellow who sits next to me. How can I sit next to him? This is a real issue. They are saying, how can we sit and have the same power? That fellow will also argue against me. I have to come to a consensus with him. So this is a real issue which is going to come, because when state government officers and central government officers sit and do. What are the challenges ahead? One-time coverage, whether it can happen. What I understand is the central is saying that if we have majority, we'll push it through. But if they try to push it through, then it may fail. And if GST fails, there's a possibility India will fail. Presently, somehow we are managing with all this diversity and all that, we are somehow managing. But if GST fails, can you get back to the other law? It may be an impossible situation. So I don't know. They have to be very careful while doing something like that. Compensation has been one more issue. Whether the center will give the compensation which it has promised. My view is 90% of the states don't require compensation, because they will be doing much better under GST than in the earlier regime. Their revenues will be substantially more. All states, 90%. Seamless credit system, this restriction baggage which is there, whether it will continue is an issue. And transition from this origin based to destination based, it has its own challenges. Let me look at an example. Nowadays, many of you are using Flipkart, Amazon.com, right? Many of us are buying online. In such cases, what will happen? How can you have this destination-based levy for direct consumer sales? So probably for direct consumer sales, it will still be origin-based. Possibly, wherever it is B2C, as we say. Business to consumer, wherever activities are there, they will be still origin-based. And if they do that, then it makes sense. If they don't do that, again we have a problem. Training and equipping, I already talked about. IT, I have talked about. States not giving veto power to the union is biggest challenge. In conclusion, to my long talk, I would say, GST is expected, in my view, only in 2017, and it will have substantial impact on business and consumers. Actual impact we'll know only when the law comes. How much restriction is there, what all, between the lines what is said, that we'll have to see. Increase in cost of services, I expect at least 10% overall increase in the cost of services thanks to the service tax going up. Would be useful to the industry immediately. Any industry will find GST very useful right on day one. Any industry almost. Again, 90% will be covered in what I say. 10% may have adverse. As far as state government is concerned and central government concerned, again, 90% both will gain, 90% of the states. As far as I see, West Bengal or Karnataka, both of us are not going to have adverse. We will be plus only. Whether we are producing states, receiving state, doesn't matter. Public, it will not have an immediate favorable impact. So many goods and so many services will come to tax. So you will have a year or two of inflation, costs will increase. So after 2 years it will stabilize. The most important slide of today's workshop, I could have started and ended with this only, but I thought a background of GST will give you a good idea. What is it for me? I'm a practicing chartered accountant. I may be doing internal audit. I may be doing indirect tax consultancy. I may be a business advisor. What is the impact on me and where I can look at? I think the first is that the production and distribution methods under GST will change dramatically. You may not require to have so many godowns, so many depots, so many outlets, unless you choose it as a marketing strategy. Not because of tax, you'll use it because of your business. And therefore there is going to be lot of property lying vacant when GST comes. I expect property prices of all the depots to drop dramatically. All the commercial enterprise, wherever you have warehouses, the rents will come down. So if your clients are people who are in warehouses, ask them to get into long-term leases, not short-term lease, so that it goes beyond GST also. There should be a clause which says that unexpired portion 50% has to be paid if you want to vacate. I'm just giving a thought process. So there is going to be a lot of optimization of GST happening in this area. And I think that's the number one issue which will come as far as chartered accountants are concerned. Because client will come and ask you a simple question. Sir, ये GST आ रहा है, हमारे business में क्या होगा? You will ask only 3 words or 4 words, but for that you have to do a lot of groundwork. You have to understand his business, how it is presently, how it's likely to be in future, what is the best option forward. So you will be doing more of management consultancy than accounting or audit. ERP systems will change, and I think change will be mandatory. You can't have businesses without the aid of IT in future. Once GST comes, can you imagine 29 states, different rates? How are you going to manage? How are you going to capture all this? Because you will have sales throughout, you will have states in 20 states. How will you manage it? It has to be with the computer system. So GST will have to be integrated. Today, most of the ERPs are not integrated to indirect tax. Even the largest companies in India, they don't integrate the ERP for the VAT or the excise duty. They don't integrate it. It's always in Excel sheets. You may get some inputs from the SAP or JD Edwards package, but your GST, your CST collections or the calculations, VAT collections, excise duty, everything is done manually or by a separate program which is away from this. But in GST, these will have to be integrated. I think this is also an enormous opportunity. Many of us have done, ESA, DISA and all that. How many of you have passed DISA? We have a large number. So for us, probably one more chance to get into this area. Analysis of impact, whether I should work in-house or whether I should work with job workers, whether I should be a trader or whether I should be manufacturer. These questions will come. Credits in hand, very, very important. I have already told you what all types of issues could come in credits. System design, maybe one more opportunity for us to see that we put some systems as far as taxes are concerned. Till now, if you see standard operating procedures is there for everything except for taxes. Yesterday I was addressing the officers of one public sector company in Bangalore, and though it has a turnover of some 25,000 crores, they don't have a SOP for indirect tax. 25,000 crores, that means totally they are spending 25% at least on indirect taxes. That means 5,000 crores, but they are not bothered to spend even 1 or 2 crores to see that the SOP in indirect tax is there. I asked them, if I am doing your audit and I want 5,000 rupees from you, I have got a contract with you for 15 lakhs, but I want a 5,000 rupee advance. How many signatures I will require, I asked. They said 7. 7 signatures will be required to draw 5,000. I said, if I am a clerk in your office and the central excise officer says, you can't take credit on such and such thing, how many people's approval I require to reverse 5 crores? They said none. Because it's not been built in. Internal control doesn't include indirect taxes. There is no internal control. 5 crores the clerk will be able to decide, whereas 5,000 rupees I require 7 signatures in that PS. I said, don't you think there is something wrong? They said, we'll put it in place. Of course, they didn't say when. So maybe 2-3 years down the line. consultancy and troubleshooting will be, especially in the starting. In fact, somebody was asking me, sir, once GST comes, what will happen to you? Because I am a specialist, I know excise, service tax, VAT, I don't know anything about income tax, I don't know anything about company law. So what will happen to you? They asked me. I said, if GST were to come the way it is supposed to come, I should think of winding up my practice in about 2-3 years after GST comes. First 2-3 years I'll have a transition benefit, after that I should probably wind up. But actually it may not be so. The way it's coming, the problems which we envisage. So I thought, okay, I should put more branches now. So I have thought of putting some 4 branches this year, maybe another 2. For all you know, I may be in Calcutta in 3 years. So certainly there is going to be a need for consultancy in this area without which businessmen cannot survive. So many of you require to look at it very carefully. Dispute resolution, disputes are going to continue. What about old disputes? In our office we have 3,500 cases. Even if I take 2 lakhs per case, it is 70 crores for the next few years. Even if I stop GST practice, so I don't do GST practice, 70 crores is income on my past cases. Why I am telling you this is, I am showing you what potential is there in this indirect tax area. Huge. By the time it comes, you may have a lot of, you can say FD in the form of pending cases. Under GST also, first few years there will be a lot of issues, so there will be a lot of cases. What are the transition issues? In each of the taxes there are marked transitional issues. That's why I said GST research which has been done may give you an idea. I don't say it's a very, very comprehensive document, but we have looked at almost everything. But we have not looked at exceptional transactions. We have looked at state incentives, we have looked at, sales returns in GST, job work. We have looked at around 36 different aspects in GST, and in each we have looked at impact under VAT, impact under the central excise, under customs. We have looked at all those impacts in the paper, very useful paper probably. Transition is a huge opportunity for us. That's why it's underlined and put bold also. Because in the initial stages, people are going to be confused. Business is going to be confused. Somebody will say something, another person will say another thing. So who will they rely on? Finally, they will come back to the person who is knowledgeable, which is you and me. And therefore, I think that there will be a huge potential for us in our career, if we are employed anywhere, and in practice, certainly a very huge advantage. I will take a few questions, and after that I will start the next session. Actually, the session was supposed to be taken by somebody else. At present, there is some issue. So maybe the alternative speaker will come after that. Any questions on GST? I will then take the service tax.
Sir, if the central government and state government both are benefited from the why state government is opposing them, some of the state governments are opposing.
Then I'll have to tell you the truth, and I know I'm on record. See, there are a lot of issues which come in. I talked about almost, huge amount of corruption which is there. This is going to reduce significantly under GST. That means if I am a tax officer, a normal tax officer, who is also, getting some additional income, there are always honest officers in every department. There are lots of people who are not either honest or dishonest. That also is there. But there are these, unfortunately, corrupt officers are there, and for them GST is not a good news. So that is one reason why it's being opposed. Number 2, India is not a country which is lily clear. You and me know that our clients are not doing proper business. They don't record sales, they undervalue sales. Their stocks, as I told in the starting, I have 3 crores of stock, but in my books it's only 2 lakhs. And that is a big, major issue. For them, GST is bad news.